morning, and welcome to Living Low Sodium with Mary Schepp, brought to you by the gracious support of Reese's Barkery and Patique. Reese'sBarkery.com, 847-363-7297, downtown McHenry on Riverside Drive. Walk in, get something for your dogs and your cats, and, you can stay and hang out a bit, but eventually you're going to have to walk out. Reese's Barkery and Patique. Thank you guys so much for your support. Mary, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm here.
Yay.
I'm tired. I'm good. And it was funny because as I was thinking about what am I, Canadian? Where did that come from?
Apparently you became Canadian.
I was going to say that. So I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about on the show, and you start going through topics and thinking about things, and it was just funny to me because it's like, I talked about that. I did that. We did that. We talked about that. We did that. So as I'm sitting there thinking about it, and it's one of those things where but until you actually focus on something and realize, like, holy crap, we're coming up on a 2-year anniversary.
Yeah.
For what was supposed to be a fun, stupid, why not for a few weeks? Let's see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes.
And here I am almost 2 years later, still
4 weeks, see what happens.
Talking about food.
Yeah. So good morning, Pamela. Hey there, Hal. How you doing?
Good morning, Dad. Good morning, Pam.
So
So I was thinking about it.
People like that. So
I figured this morning.
And it seems like you like it too, and we like you. So hey, there you go.
It is fun. It's early now that we switched the show time, but it's fun.
Yeah.
So I figured I'd raid your file of my notes, which is hilarious to me that I could literally. I know the radio people can't see this, but Facebook land can see. I could literally write a book probably just from the notes from the show.
Well, I mean, you've got nearly 100 weeks.
Right.
I mean,
minus a Thanksgiving or a endodontist appointment here and there.
Here and there, but
nice big hole in my face.
How you doing? You feeling all right?
My endodontist is amazing. I actually ran into her in the produce section at the grocery store yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Super
sweet. And the procedure itself, I've never, not never, but almost never in my adult years have I ever had a bad dental visit. I've had 5 root canals now, I think.
Holy crap.
I got bad teeth. Floss your teeth. Tell your children to floss their teeth. I don't care about brushing and mouthwash and all this other crap. Floss your freaking teeth. Tell your children to floss your freaking teeth. Because I am so many thousands of dollars that I could have bought maybe a car or two for the amount of money that I'm spending now as an adult to save my teeth. Not saying that my parents didn't take care of me as a child, but once you leave your house, whether it's at 15 or 16 or 27, and you don't take care of your teeth, they go bad very, very quickly. Take care of your teeth.
Yeah.
But I have a great dentist, and I have this endodontist, this new technology that they have. Once they drill the holes to get the nerves and the roots and whatever and the infection out, it used to be they would just pump you full of antibiotics for all of the spots that they can't get to get the infection out.
Mm.
And now they have this sonic irrigation thing. So they literally hook a tube up to your tooth with those holes in it, and it flushes fluid, a solution, up into with sonic pulses or whatever to break everything up. Because I actually have an abscess in the jawbone up here in my upper jaw. So it flushes all of that out for like 8 minutes.
Holy cow.
And then they fill it like normal, and they very, very rarely have to put you, unless you've got like 6 teeth that are bad and your whole face is rotten out. They don't have to put you on antibiotics. They didn't. So other than the fact that my mouth was, stretched wide open like something out of Beetlejuice, and somebody was literally hammering on my jaw for 2 solid hours. So the muscles and everything hurt, but the discomfort from the infection and everything else, I mean, even my gums were only sore for a day from everything that they do. So it's an expensive procedure. Thank God I have great dental insurance.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was uncomfortable to lay in a chair with someone pounding on your head. But as far as dental procedures go, it's not quite the nightmare I think a lot of people think it is.
Yeah, Hal.
Hal has plastic teeth.
Hey, and those probably last for quite a long time. You can take them out, soak them, clean them up overnight.
Yep.
I remember my grandparents doing that. Walking in the bathroom as a kid and seeing full
There's
sets of teeth.
there's problems to it though, because when eating certain things, and it doesn't matter how well you glue them in, you gotta. So implants are the way to go. If you can get them, but those are really expensive.
Yeah, my dad had implants, and he went to a dental school in Kansas City.
Yep,
and
got him the cheaper route.
Got him the cheper route, but I mean they were very nice. So.
Good morning, Jim, my cast iron guy. How's Cassie doing?
There he is.
I haven't seen Jim in a while. Well, I mean, I haven't seen Jim in person ever, but I've known him for quite some time. He was one of the first people I met through social media after I had gotten diagnosed with liver disease. And he's my go-to for everything and anything cast iron.
Wow.
He'd probably cry if he saw the state of some of my cast iron in my cabinet that needs to be reseasoned, but I have my go-to pan that I use all the time. So
we just have one cast iron pan at home. It's a small one.
I have a few. I have most of them. My stepmom loves to find me rare finds, so she'll find me stuff at estate sales down in Florida. So every once in a while, I'll get a super heavy box in the mail. It's got cast iron, but if it fits, it ships, says the post office. So she will cram a cast iron pan in one of those boxes.
Wow!
And ship it up to me for like $5.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's If it fits, it ships. Yeah. There you go. So Hal wants implants as well.
Yeah,
so,
for his teeth.
Yeah, my dad got those from a dental school, and they were fine.
Yep.
It was don't go to a dental. So they got to learn how to put them in you somehow. So, but he actually did pretty well with those. So, but yeah, I've got English heritage, so my teeth should be probably way worse than they are. But I've had 4 yanked, and I had some fillings as a kid, and I have 1 chipped.
I had a tendency to knock out my front 2, so there's enough tooth left on my front 2 teeth that the crowns can adhere to. But I've knocked those out quite a few times.
And as a youth, this was not pleasant. But as a youth, my canines were filed down.
Yeah.
Extremely, so as I was not walking around looking like a vampire or a werewolf, I would have just left them. But it was not. I was a kid. It was not my decision. So
yeah, no, that's
apparently I was.
That is something that's not pleasant, is having your teeth filed.
When I opened my mouth, I was a scary looking person, I guess, as a kid. I don't know.
A ginger vampire.
Yeah. Because as if. I mean, I can't go in the sun anyway.
That's hilarious.
So, yeah.
Pete
whatever.
The baby ginger vampire. Oh my good God, that's so funny.
Anyway, there you go.
But yeah, it's funny as I'm going through these notes. I talk a lot about salt. Apparently.
Well, I mean, it's called living low sodium. Well, at least recently, it's being correctly called living low sodium, because for more than the first year, apparently I named your show incorrectly.
That's all right. Well, I mean, there's a brand and there's a show name and there's a whatever, and I didn't really much.
You were incredibly amenable. You didn't. Yeah, you never.
Yeah, it didn't really.
Yeah. So.
Well, we've been kind of winging it, so I can't really say that.
Well, your style of winging it, though, is much
apparently
different.
Comes with a novel.
Yeah, that's your style of winging it. And because I got to say, there's not another show that exists on our stage, so far as I'm aware. I mean, we didn't even do that for What's in Your Loaf. We had an outline, and we followed the outline, but we never made the extensive amount of notes that you made. We sat down and would prepare. And, like Uncle Pete in the Morning, there is a lot of prep that goes into putting that together.
Right.
All the time. And, but there are no notes for it. We don't document everything that we do. Maybe we should.
Yeah. I after doing a couple shows, I found that, I mean, it's almost like I'm sure it's very similar on TV where they have that script of sorts where it's unscripted because it's live, it's talk show or it's whatever, but you still have to that time frame to stay on, because in one aspect an hour is a really long time to talk about salt or no salt, but it's also really fast. So 2 minutes can be an eternity, but it can also blow by when you have something to say really, really quickly. And then the next thing you know, you run out of time, or you don't have enough time and you're sitting here staring at each other trying to find things to talk about. And next thing you know, you're talking about Beatles or something because you just need something to talk about because you can't have dead air.
But at the same, with all of that in mind, we've just spent 11 minutes talking about teeth and notes.
And teeth and notes and Beatles. Right.
There you go.
So as I was
welcome
going through
to live radio,
right? As I'm flipping through these, and it's funny because it's the same on like the support groups and the websites and everywhere else, where every few episodes or every few weeks or every few months, there's this, it's the same comment over and over, at least in the low sodium world. And I'm sure it transposes to many other topics, but salt is salt is salt is salt. And it seems that, because I remember I started like the first 10 episodes or something by saying that. Like it's salt is salt, whether it's pink salt or gray salt, Celtic salt, Himalayan salt. You wouldn't believe go to a salt store. If you can have salt and actually see, there is so many different kinds of salts. And they all taste different. It's kind of like licking a penny or a battery. Like the mineral compounds that are in them, depending on where they come from, very much like wines, they all taste different. So they all serve a different purpose, and they're all good on different things. Some are good finishing salts, some are good cooking salts, all of these different things, but they're still all salt.
No.
And so when people say that, one is healthier than the other, it's just almost laughable at how good companies are at convincing you of things. It's plastered all over TV, all over advertising, radio marketing, product placement, everywhere that, well, it's got Himalayan salt, or it's got pink salt, or it's got sea salt in it. So it's okay. Potato chips, but with sea salt. Look at the back of the package. The sodium is still the same.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter. It's just, sea salt or any other salt. Because yes, they do have more minerals. They are not refined. They do not have iodine added. And by weight, because the crystals are larger. So if you just go by a teaspoon, then yes, you're going to get more sodium in table salt than you will in any kind of rock salt or salt of the earth. Just because of physics, the size of the crystals. If you've ever been in science class, then he fills the jar and asks if it's full.
Yeah.
And then fills it with smaller pebbles and asks if it's full, and then fills it with sand and asks if it's full, and then fills it with water. And you're pissed at this point that he's proved you wrong 16 times in a row.
Right.
But that's the concept. So if you go by weight, they're fairly close to each other as far as the sodium content. It is slightly less. So, but I was just looking, I was like, this is pretty funny. Like salt, and there's like every 5 or 6 shows, there's a little blurb about, doesn't matter what it is. If you're going to have salt, salt is salt. So either eat it, don't eat it, or cut it out or reduce it, but it's all the same thing.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple episodes where I get yelled at because of, salt is necessary for life.
Well, duh. That's why.
And I go and have to say, yes, you can have salt. You just need to balance what you need for you.
Right. And I did, when my wife actually just found, not that this, it has salt in it, but it's actually a spice bottle that is called the Everything Bagel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ooh, I've been putting that on a lot of stuff. It is just wonderful.
Dax has an Everything Bagel.
It might be Dax, actually.
Yeah. Dax has because all the Dax, if you don't follow my show, if you do, you would know that I use Dax spices a lot. But Dax Spices has an Everything Bagel. And as a matter of fact, Again, if you follow the show, you know that I run Fresh from the Farm McHenry County.
Mhm.
And lately I've been helping out with a farmer's market in the area. And Maya's Family, I think it's Maya's Family Food. I'm going to cry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. She has all of these different challah breads she makes all the time that she brings to the farmer's market. And last week she brought everything bagel challah bread. And it was amazing. It was a little salty, but you need salt for bread. And it was absolutely amazing. So maybe I'll have to try some of the Dax Everything Bagel and make my roly-poly bread for you. See how that turns out.
It'd probably be good. I'm guessing.
I would imagine so.
But
yeah, it blows my mind how many people don't realize how many farms are in our area or any area. It doesn't matter if you're not local here to our area. McHenry County has 911 registered farms. It's 234,000 acres, which is 60% of the county. For McHenry County.
It's huge.
Yeah. So when
and that's a county with a little over 300,000 people in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
but that's what's funny is when people talk about why I created the farm group, and I was getting message after message after message. Where am I finding food when the pandemic started? I said, you just go to the farm. Which farm? What do you mean, which farm? Have you not been stuck behind a tractor ever? Like even down the highway? Because they're there all the time.
All the time. There's tractors running up and down the roads out here all the time.
Oh, that's right. My dad's, I hope I'm saying this right. He's senior chief in the Navy. And
don't ask me. You're
I'm looking at Pete like he's like longtime cahoots with my dad.
Yeah.
He'll correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was senior chief in the U.S. Navy. And every year he started this thing where his buddies come down to visit him. So he's got some of his crew that he brought up flying in from all over the world to come stay at his house. So he'll be cooking for days here. And they come out and visit, which is pretty cool. But yeah, it was funny to me how many people didn't realize how many farms are in our area. And even now, like meat prices are going to go sky high.
They've already been going up, I've noticed.
Well, the feed prices went high months ago because of droughts through the whole Dust Belt. So now that we're getting a little bit of rain here, it's helping us out, especially if you shop the local farmers markets. You can find a lot of that stuff for, cheaper than you can in the grocery stores, because now we're starting to get some rain here. But that doesn't mean that, the entire west side of the country hasn't seen a drop of rain in God knows how long. And the feed prices going sky high means that pork and beef and poultry, even the restaurants are having some problems. Like, what's the one restaurant? Some wing restaurant started selling thighs. There's a commercial all over the place because there's a wing shortage.
Wow. Who'd have thought?
There's shortages of everything now, but it's an actual.
But if there's a wing shortage,
right.
Why? How are there more thighs? Well, do people not eat thighs
right.
as much
They're
as they
not
eat
as
wings?
Popular as the wings, so that's what's left right now. So they're eating thighs.
Because that's actually my preferred cut on a chicken is the thigh.
Same.
Every single time.
Yeah, I just made them the other day.
In fact, Mary Catherine usually, if she's going to make fried chicken, she just gets a big bunch of thighs,
right,
and just makes those, and she'll maybe make a few chicken breasts because she likes the white meat a little bit better. But dark meat on a chicken is my jam. Apparently,
when I wasn't so busy with 8 million other things, some of my notes are pretty detailed. I got some pretty neat topics in here, like talking about what does salt do for you and how does salt affect your life. One of the little tidbits that I pulled up, and if my memory serves me, I want to say that it was either from Johns Hopkins or Harvard EDU. Results of specific studies suggest that consumption of foods high in sodium and low in potassium contributes to the development of depressive symptoms in early adolescence, and that diet is a modifiable risk factor for adolescent behavior and depression.
Huh.
So shocker, feeding your kids better might reduce their depression. But I thought that was pretty neat that the study goes on to say much, much, much more than that. But that little snippet about childhood depression and obesity and all of these things and the hyponatremia. I should keep this because I reference that all the time, like the hyper versus the hyponatremia. Too much salt or too little salt.
Do you not save the files when you type these up?
I do. They're just on my computer, and I don't have my computer here, but I have all of them. So just like you, I have my book. It's just in digital form.
Yeah, and that's where that's where everything that we've done internally here. And I don't know about other. I never get notes. Like, you're the only show host that gives me notes for your show, which is wonderful because it helps me stay on track.
So here's what's funny is you bragged about my notes, and then the second that Kent had to take over to produce for a little while, and we were switching things around, and I didn't have notes.
Oh,
he was all excited. And he's like, "Yeah, Pete tells me." I was like, I don't have any notes today."
oh man,
whoops.
Yeah,
it was a rough day.
Oh well.
But yeah, it's fun to go through and see all of these. And again, more about salts and potassium and carbohydrates. I went some pretty detailed stuff here on some of my shows.
Oh yeah, you did.
And I honestly was trying to think of what my favorite show was, and I can't.
You've had a lot of good shows. And I mean, really, I don't know that there's a favorite one. I like, what shows I really like? The ones where you bring food.
I was going to say the Egg Bite show.
Yeah.
Wait, did you like the smoothie show where I made you eat a banana smoothie?
That was my least. I hated that show, actually. That was
I almost want to make a TikTok out of the look on your face when that happened.
If I could erase that from my memory. And now there's someone left a nasty banana in our studio.
The man who despises bananas, and there's a banana next to the coffee pot.
Yeah.
I swear it wasn't me.
I mean, it's going to wind up going in the garbage probably today before I leave, but it's just gross. Someone leaving a banana in our studio. The gall.
Man, it's funny because I'm so used to bananas at this point that I guess I don't even hate them as much as I used to.
Really? Well, I mean, you do it every day, though.
Right.
Which to me is just
twice a day, 2 bananas every day.
Oh God, that would. I don't know. I suppose my power to live or my desire to continue living might trump my disgust of bananas, but
right.
I wouldn't. I would not be happy about it. That's for darn sure.
It's funny because, like, talking about bananas, I'm surprised I don't talk about it more. I know I do, but the creating balance.
Yeah.
And of course, there it is. And I've discovered this recently. Again. Not that I shouldn't say discovered it. It's just brought back to the forefront of my mind. Something in my hormone levels changed. And coincidentally, literally last night, I was scrolling through posts and someone posted about water retention. And that she's doing everything. She's, low sodium. She eats healthy. She had her blood work done. And I suggested that she get her hormone panel. And she hadn't done that. I said, just based on your profile picture, you've got 2 kids that are older. I'm guessing you're over 40. And the joys of being a female, regardless of whether you want to or not, your hormone levels adjust on a fairly regular basis, whether you want them to or not, which is why I gained so much weight a couple weeks back. So I had no choice but to quit eating my ice cream. I had to cut it out because I would literally have a bowl of ice cream every single night. Not like a big giant heaping bowl with syrup and all this other crap. I'm not, but I would have a couple scoops of ice cream because I like ice cream and I eat really good. So I was like, I burn enough calories in a day. I'm okay eating a scoop of ice cream. But then everything changed. And with the way in which I retain water so quickly between my liver and my spine and my nerve damage, it's a slippery slope. So it's very understandable how somebody can go from a healthy body weight to an unhealthy body weight very quickly.
Yeah.
And it is very difficult, especially whether you're male or female, if you're over, that 40-year-old mark, to lose that. Your metabolism and everything changes.
It does.
So it makes it more difficult because the line between, healthy and insulin resistance is very thin. And once your body starts becoming insulin resistant, and the fat and the types of fat that you start accumulating are different. So you have to pay attention to those patterns and find out where it's coming from and adjust accordingly. So that's exactly what I had to do. I didn't have a choice. I suppose I had a choice. I could have continued eating ice cream and gotten fat and super unhealthy. But being that I already have liver disease, I don't need another reason to have anything else.
Right.
So I cut out the ice cream, changed my diet a little bit. My weight plateaued. I lost 4 pounds, which isn't the 12 that I gained, but a lot of it's water weight. But I'm not going to lose that water weight unless I do one of two things. And that's either adjust my dietary plan and my exercise to accommodate, or go on water pills. And water pills are usually hormone based. I don't react well to them. So that's just not an option I want to take unless I absolutely have to.
Mm.
And when I'm 80, I probably will have to. I probably won't have a choice to do it any other way other than to have medicinal help.
Mm.
I just would rather wait as long as humanly possible before I start popping pills again. That's my personal preference.
Yeah, but you've got the equivalent of another lifetime until you're there, because you're
right. I don't want to be on pills for the next 40 years.
Yeah.
So that's what's that's the difference. I think is a lot of people want so easily that ready fix that I can just take a pill and it's better. True. But there's other ways to do it that are healthier for you. And I'm not saying that everybody should do that, because I know that it's not. I know firsthand how hard it is to have the discipline to do that. And I don't have it every day, because push came to shove. If someone offered me lunch today, I would probably go and have lunch somewhere that I'm not supposed to have lunch.
Hint, hint to everybody listening out there. She's looking for lunch today. So
I am going to. Today's Thursday. The weather looks like it's holding out, so we are going to have ice cream at Julianne's tonight. So I've got quite a few people coming up to visit, and we're going to go and have ice cream tonight. So it'll be a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I still have not been there.
It's funny because Julianne's and Carrie Dairy. Carrie Dairy is actually closer to me. They don't make custard. They sell chocolate shop ice cream. And the owners were in my store yesterday. It's like, I'm just laughing at myself, and my assistant store manager, he's like, do you know every ice cream store owner? It's like, there's only 2 that I know, but yes, I
well, you know that.
It doesn't hurt to make friends with the ice cream shop.
See, I don't, as wonderful as all that may well be, I don't like soft ice cream. I can't stand it. It's just gross.
Like soft serve, or
yeah, soft serve, or even
the
like
chocolate shop isn't soft serve.
If it's out of like a container that you get at the store and it's just mushy, I hate it. I can't stand it. It's got to be, my ice cream's got to be hard. Like I want it to be a rock when I pull it out. You're
a goofy dude.
I cannot stand soft ice cream.
That's fine.
The texture of soft ice cream just completely grosses me out.
Julianne's is custard, so it's soft serve custard. Yeah. The chocolate shop is, it's in tubs, so it's depending on how cold their freezers, I guess, would be how cold it is when you get it.
See, like usually if I go to like those little ice cream soda fountain places, they're what's in their tubs are nowhere near
right, because they're open and closing the tops all the time. They're still soft.
So it's just like, nope, I'll take a pass.
Yeah,
can't do it. It's just gross. I don't know what it is. I mean, I do know what it is. It's the texture. I just can't stand it.
I understand textural issues. Of course, I can't think of anything specifically at the moment. There's a few things that I have. Mint chocolate chip ice cream. It's soft ice cream, but it's got chunks of hard chocolate in it. I can't do that.
I love mint chocolate ice cream, mint chocolate chip, if it's hard.
Right.
Again, if it's a good frozen solid block, then I'm all right.
So
I don't mind it, but
speaking of ice cream, going through all my notes, Jello.
Jello.
I'm gonna have to agree with him on Jello. I'm not a big fan
I'm
of
not
Jello.
a big fan of Jello either. So now here's the thing, though. I don't mind pudding.
Do you like pudding?
I don't like pudding. Pamela, eggs bother me. Well, tell them to cut it out.
Don't be bullied by the eggs.
Yeah, don't let those eggs bother you. I actually really like eggs.
I love
enjoy
eggs. I eat a lot of eggs.
Yeah, I do too.
It's as I'm going through all these and we're talking about ice cream, the kids episode, I think, is the one that got me the most messages.
Really?
Most new likes, the most people reaching out to me because, as a parent, you want to. Pete has funny taste. I'll eat anything except roadkill.
Let me tell you a little bit about roadkill, Hal. When you have family that is incredibly, let's see, how should I put this? Incredibly funds deficient in Oklahoma, roadkill stew is not an unusual dinner option.
I can bet that my dad probably was down that same boat, only from West Virginia.
Yeah.
Same boat. But yeah, the kids show, and it was funny because my husband was laughing at me when I was writing the notes for this show because I don't have kids and I can't have kids, and it doesn't bother me. A lot of people are shocked by that, but whatever. I was dealt the cards that I'm dealt, and it is what it is. And I wanted them. We both wanted them, but it's just not in the cards. But I was just laughing because I'm like, I must be so much of a child at heart. Because as I was writing the show, I was like, oh, what can I make for kids? Chicken fingers and the egg bites and little mini tacos, regular tacos and pancakes and French fries and pasta. And I just literally like dot. Because I'm like, there's a million things I can make. So every time I've watched somebody's kids or had somebody's kids over, it's never been an issue trying to figure out what to cook for them. And even now that I eat healthy, it's the same concept. It's never, it wasn't very hard. So I almost think that a lot of times parents just flat out overthink it. My kid only likes chicken nuggets. Okay, then make chicken nuggets. They don't have to be if you actually want to make chicken nuggets like McDonald's, then you need to take chicken and throw it in your blender with some seasoning until it's literally like a paste. And then you add a little bit of thickener to it, a flour or guar gum or something like that, and form it into a little patty, and you freeze it and you bread it, and then you fry it. And you can make chicken nuggets at home and control what's in them. If you want to go the easy route, like I do, you buy a giant pack of chicken tenderloins and either leave them long and have chicken fingers or cut them in half or quarters and bread them. And especially now where with everybody on the corner has air fryers. You just shove it in an air fryer and boom, you've got homemade chicken nuggets that are chicken.
You know what I had the other day?
Tots.
I did. And you know what? I had actually turkey chili cheese covered tots.
Oh, see, that's
because I forgot about turkey. Good morning, Lisa, and thank you for tagging Julie Adrianson. We'll move on. I don't need to butcher her name anymore. But thank you for telling her about the show. But yeah, I forgot all about turkey chili and how turkey wanted to be like every other meat.
Yep.
Ta-da, I'm back on chili.
Woohoo. I'm bummed that more places don't sell turkey. I can find it every once in a while at Fresh Time. And the problem with turkey is when I do find ground turkey at a grocery store, it's brined. It's loaded with sodium.
Yeah.
It's the same with ground pork.
Yeah.
So if I want ground pork, if you don't know, I get mine from Hephzibah Farms or Dykstra Farms or one of, Fresh from the Farms, McHenry County. It's tagged in the comments here. There's about 8 million farms in our area that sell fresh pork, fresh beef, fresh whatever. And even last night, so my husband and I I didn't know what to make for dinner. So I Google dinner ideas. I don't look at the recipes. I just literally scroll through the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw this, it was called an enchilada bake. So it was noodles, black beans, sweet corn. I used some of the ground pork from Hidden Marsh Farms and some tomato paste, Dax Red Mountain Rub, or not Dax Red, the Dax Original Red, and some pepper. Like super simple, throw it all in one pot, cook it up, and some vegetable broth. And it made this noodly dish, and it was very, very tasty. But even things like that to make them for kids, I found they absolutely love it, especially if they get to be a part of it. Even if it's something stupid as dumping the can of corn in there. I don't like corn. Well, you get to be the one that puts it in there, and if you don't want it, look and see. It's not that much. You can take them out. And they'll pick out the little corn kernels. But when they get to be a part of it, and it's funny, we were just discussing this at work yesterday. I probably put it in here too in my notes. There's a certain level of exposure that you need to either feel comfortable with things, and there's also a certain amount of exposure to change a habit.
Yeah.
And I believe it's like if you're trying to change a daily habit, it's 28 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you want to get up at 5 o'clock instead of 6 o'clock, it takes
change
28
one or
days.
Create a new one.
Right.
Yeah.
To eat lunch every day, it takes 28 days on average to change that habit. And with kids, I think it's like 17 to 21 times or something that they need to be exposed to something. It doesn't mean they need to eat it. It means that if you like Brussels sprouts and you want to expose your kid to Brussels sprouts, just you eating it every single time and then feeding them whatever, you give them their chicken nuggets and you're eating your Brussels sprouts. After a certain amount of exposure and you ask them if they want to try it and they don't like it and you try it again and they don't like it, it still takes time for their palate to develop because kids' palates, they're unsalted and they're unsweetened. Those are both habits that they learn.
Yeah.
And they learn them from you. So, sorry, parents, I hate to break it to you, but if your kid is a picky eater, I mean, granted, there's certain sensory exceptions to that. But for the most part, if your kid is a sugar whore or a salt whore, it's most likely because you've been feeding them sugar and salt. So it's the same with spices. People learn to like spices.
And Mark says, I have started a low sodium, I'm guessing a diet.
Yeah.
Or, lifestyle because, hey,
right.
About a month ago, and I'm now just getting used to it.
It took me about 6 weeks. But I went full bore. I went all or nothing. I threw away every salted thing in my cabinet. I wanted my palate to be completely unsalted. And it took a little while, but I remember the first time that I could taste the difference between kinds of potatoes. Because I never cared. Like I always knew that you should use waxed potatoes for certain things and russet potatoes for certain things and fingerling potatoes for certain, like there's different potatoes that some make mashed potatoes better, some make French fries better.
Potato lover as you are,
I never could taste the difference.
Really?
If I made mashed potatoes, it didn't matter.
Because you salted the whole little credit. I gotcha. All right.
You salt the water. So 90% of the time you're tasting the salt with a whatever extra. Like it's a plate of salt with some potatoes, not a plate of potatoes with a little bit of salt on top. The amount of salt that people put into things is insane. Like when you watch the cooking shows and they say that the water needs to be salted like the sea. And it makes a nice tasty batch of mashed potatoes.
Yeah, but then you're correct though. You do not taste the potato.
Right.
And potatoes are very unique in their flavors and even in their textures.
Yep.
It's the potato is a wonderful thing.
But it makes, and I knew that there was a difference texturally between which ones made better mashed potatoes or French fries or potato chips or potato salad. But I never had tasted the difference until even my husband, because now he's got a fairly unsalted palate. He still has some things that he eats, like his hot sauces. I'm never going to take his hot sauces away, which thankfully most are low sodium. But I made potato salad with the wrong potatoes once, so they kind of crumbled a little bit more, but it made it super starchy, which wasn't bad. it just wasn't good either. It's not the kind of potato salad you take to someone's
Yeah,
picnic and they're
no.
like, man, everybody's got to try Mary's potato salad.
Now, here's the thing. Potato salad, for a guy who does not like mushy things,
You like the mushy
I
potato salad?
freaking love,
Yeah.
And especially if it's mustard potato
Yeah.
salad.
Yep.
And if it's a nice, mushy and
Yep.
creamy, and
just a few chunks of potato.
and
That's how my husband likes it.
Oh, I love that. So go figure. I don't know, but
and you can do that with any of the potatoes, but some are just starchier than others.
Does he put a little
and it
extra
needs
hot
it.
sauce on his potato salad too?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I do
everything,
too. Yeah.
everything that he touches. I love the. I mean,
Like, not near what I used to because of ulcers and such,
Yeah.
but a couple little dabs will do you. I've learned.
Yeah, he puts hot sauce on everything. I love the fact that he will taste everything that I make.
Yeah.
Before he seasons it, but I shouldn't say season. He just likes hot sauce.
Well, I mean, I do too. I completely understand that. It's hot sauce gives you for me, it just gives you.
It's the bite that he likes.
Yeah, that bite, that extra snap, that
Right.
heat that just enhances whatever else it is you're eating. So,
actually, I know quite a few friends of mine whose kids absolutely love hot sauce too. But it's kind of ironic that, you're, as a kid, your taste buds it's an open palate. So you're kind of left to what your parents feed you and what they expose you to.
Yeah.
And then as you grow, and everybody has usually either a bitter or a sweet palate, which is why some people like hot sauce and some people don't. Some people like olives, some people don't.
I love olives.
Which, if you're a Mythbuster fan and ever watched the show Mythbusters, they've actually done an episode on taste buds where they fed in a blind tasting with a control and the whole 9 yards, and they fed a bunch of people like mashed broccoli, just because they mashed all of it, so the texture was the same, and all you're getting is the taste profile. And one person was literally like, "This is super sweet. I don't like this," and they're all like, "You like broccoli is sweet? Like that's supposed? You'd think that is a savory or a bitter." But depending on your palate, depends on how you perceive what that taste is.
Huh.
So everybody sees which is why it's funny to me for tasting competitions, and someone's like, "Oh yeah, yours is the best." Oh, dude, everybody's taste is different. It's like pizza.
Yeah.
Some people like Domino's. Some people think it's a cardboard box.
Yeah.
So, but
I hate thin crust pizza. Don't serve me pizza on a cracker. Oh, that's what that is to me.
See,
I hate it.
We have a taste for it every once in a while, but usually we're stuffed pizza fans. That's usually what we go with.
Yeah, I like a thicker. I like having a pizza. Now here's the thing: pizza and even tacos. You know what annoys the holy living crap out of me about tacos? Everybody loves tacos. Tacos, all they are to me, it's a single slice of bread sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone just went, "Oh."
Do you make taco sandwiches?
I do sometimes, actually. Yeah. So
we just made taco salad the other night.
Yeah, I've had taco sandwiches. It's the same damn thing to me. No, it's a single slice. Pizza's the same thing too. It's basically a single slice sandwich.
It's an open face sandwich. Yeah.
So
that's funny.
Jim, tacos suck.
Jim, come on, man. I thought we were friends, dude. I love tacos.
I mean, I don't mind. I just don't. I get annoyed with the hype. It's just a freaking open face sandwich on a tortilla, which is still bread.
It really is.
Just bread. It's cornbread or flour bread.
Just
bread.
We found literally almost across the street from where we live now. It's like 6 blocks away. I could walk there. My husband to this day jokes every time I go there and come back that he's like, it's impossible. There's no way you could make it there and back. El Sombrero in Fox River Grove. It's just a little Mexican place.
Yeah.
And
Jim, I feel you. I feel the exact same way about bananas.
Tacos disgust me.
Bananas and soft ice cream.
Tacos.
It's just gross.
But we've taken to getting a couple tacos on the side of whatever we order because they're not our American Tex-Mex tacos. They're they're street tacos. So it's the corn tortillas it's literally just chunks of meat with onion and salsa.
Okay. I wish people would find another way to describe that as well. A street taco.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
I
not,
scraped it off the street.
Yeah, that's exactly what goes through my brain. You have street
Yeah.
in front of any kind of food,
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to eat it. And there's probably a lot of wonderful food trucks, which
Yeah.
wherein people, that's where that inference comes from, or that name. And there's probably some wonderful
Taco
food truckers
stands on the
out
side
there,
of the
taco
corner, yeah.
stands, whatever. Call it a stand.
Yeah.
I mean, we call it a hot dog stand. We don't call it a street dog or a street hot dog. I mean, I've
maybe
never
in New
heard
York.
anybody call it that. So, but I mean, quit calling it a street taco. It sounds like someone just went off the pavement and said, "Here, eat this." And it's so gross.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I'm sorry, Jim. I didn't pee. I love tacos. I love everything about them.
I'm not saying I dislike tacos. I just dislike the hype because it's just,
Yeah.
it's people go nuts over tacos.
The
And
ones
it's
that
just-
I
it's a
can't stand the hype in
sandwich.
is stuff. Things.
But Hal says,
But
but you
you'll
will
eat-
eat roadkill. I have had roadkill stew.
Not a
I was
preference.
told about it later. It's not, someone did not hand this to me and say, "Here, we scraped this
Have
off the
some
road.
possum."
Eat this." I have had possum stew. I've had squirrel stew. I've had
possum and
whatever
squirrel.
kind of bird was
Yep.
on someone's, stuck in someone's grill.
Yep.
We've had deer,
Yep.
roadkill deer. But again, I was told this later in life. I did not, as a kid, someone said, "Here, we took this off the road." So,
Yeah. I will say.
boy, we touched a nerve with Jim this morning here on tacos.
Oh, that's
Sorry,
yeah.
Jim.
Yeah, Jim.
We want this show to be entertaining for everybody. Well, and right now Jim's entertaining me. So.
Right. I'll make anything into a taco. I have tortillas in my pantry almost all the time because I will, breakfast
And
burritos and tacos and wraps and all that stuff. And it's a downfall because it's really hard to find low sodium tortillas unless you're doing corn.
And then I love corn chips. I love tortilla chips. My preferred tortilla chip is a flour tortilla chip. I do love, but I will eat the whole living crud out of a bag of Doritos.
Yeah.
I mean, give me a bag of Doritos, you ain't getting it back.
You mean it's not one serving?
No, well,
Or
a bag,
not 6 servings or whatever the hell.
No. Usually, the family bag of Doritos is a single serve.
That's
in my house.
Hey man, it comes in a bag and it fits in my hand, so it should
Telling
be.
you.
You'd be a fan of the taco bag.
I had that not so long ago, and it was in a bowl, but not in actual. But a McHenry chamber member basically introduced me to that. I'm like, okay, well, it's basically
A bag of chips with tacos on top.
With all the stuff that goes on that, and I was a happy fellow with my little bowl of Dorito taco. It was basically Dorito taco salad.
You're supposed to put it in the bag of chips.
Yeah, I did. I didn't realize that. So I picked up a bowl, opened a bag, dumped the chips in the bowl, and just went at that way. Sorry, Jim.
It's tasty. It's the other way I've had that is a chili bag.
A chili bag.
A bag of Fritos and a scoop of chili on top with onions and cheese. And you literally just walk around a fair with a spoon. And it's funny because people who don't know what you're eating, they think that you're eating Fritos with a spoon.
And they're like, what the hell
and
are you
look
doing?
like a moron because you're just as happy as can be and you're just digging into a bag of Fritos.
You're walking around
like wwho eats Fritos with a spoon?
With a spoon, hey.
There's chili in my bag.
I love chili cheese Doritos. And I love that. There's an idea.
Yep, it's really good. It's really tasty.
All right.
So, I think one of the biggest things that I'm most proud of from this show is the amount of people who've told me that they pay attention. Not that they went low sodium, not that they're changing their diet, not that they're, I'm going to be healthy, I'm going to do this, and I want to do your diet plan. And I never ask anybody to do my diet plan because I know that I'm a nutcase. I know that not everybody can be all or nothing. Everybody's personality is different. Mm. I also know that even though it's really easy for me to make my pasta sauce, which is a pomodoro sauce, in the same amount of time it takes me to cook my noodles. So when I make pasta, it is fresh San Marzano tomatoes in a wine sauce with my pasta, that if you're not passionate about it, then it's not going to be easy for you. It's just not. It's no different than I could tell you that bananas are the cure for life. And if I tell you to eat a banana, it's still going to take you 20 minutes to get that thing down your throat, because you're going to hate every single second of it. And your brain is going to convince you not to do it. And it doesn't matter. I could literally sit here and say, I'm going to give you $1 billion if you eat this banana, and you're going to stare at it, and you got to psych yourself up to do it. So
I would absolutely have to.
Right. So it does come down to,
I'd probably do it for $1 billion, but
right. Again, it would
it's not
still
going to be quick.
You would, right. You'd
it's
have
not
to
be quick.
But on the kids episode, in a couple other episodes, I've said, you got to decide what you give value to, because nobody gives value to their health. And if you don't give value to your health, how do you give value to your kids' health? You say you do, but then I see a kid walking around with a 20-ounce Starbucks pink drink that is nothing but sugar and caffeine.
Yeah.
Which is horribly, horribly bad for us, let alone a kid.
Yeah.
So the same with making time to cook, which is another one of my episodes that was one of my favorite ones. So if you want any of these episodes, they're all on YouTube on 216 The Net. And
they are.
Most of them are on my YouTube, but they are all on 216 The Net's YouTube page.
Yep.
But when you give value to something, and usually the only time people give value to their health is when something goes wrong. And even then, it's still a 50-50 shot, which is why most of my doctors treated me like an alcoholic and was like, okay, yeah, sure, we'll see how you do. You're not going off medications. This is your new normal. And then 2 years after my diagnosis, my doctor's calling me the poster child for liver disease. I didn't want to die. And I didn't want to live feeling as horrible as I did, because you don't know how bad you feel until you feel better.
Right.
And that's just fact. So if you don't give value to it, I give value to my health now. And I was the same as everybody else. I didn't give value to it before. And then I got sick, and now I've got 3% of a functioning liver that I have to deal with for the rest of my life. And I wish that I would have given more value to it when I was younger.
No.
And the simple little things. And it's funny, because the more I cook, the more I realize how easy it is. And there's no way to show somebody that. People have to experience things for themselves. They just do.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad, because you when you know something, you want so bad to force it on everybody else, because you know damn well that they're going to feel better. But all you're going to do is alienate everybody around you, and then you can't help them at all.
Yeah.
So the pure fact that I have so many people say that I pay attention, like, holy crap, I used to buy this one soup, and now I realize that one can is 1,500 milligrams of sodium. So now I just picked a better option.
Yeah.
I didn't change your diet. I didn't force my plan down your throat. I didn't make you stop using a salt shaker on your eggs in the morning. But just by making you pay attention, changed your perspective a little bit. And that makes me super proud of what I've done for people, because that's all I've ever wanted. I don't want to force my things down your throat.
I mean, after, producing your show so much, even I pay attention now and look and go, oh, wow, that's
right.
A lot of salt. And even at this point, like you talk about soups. I like soups out of the can. Sure. And dump them in. It's real easy. I used to, throw salt in them and a little pepper and a little extra, you kind of 2.0 them and, dress them up.
I did the same.
Now I may put a little, depending on what kind of soup it is, I may put a little hot sauce in there, and I may put a little pepper in there, and that's about the extent of it. I don't add salt, because you look at it, oh, holy crap, there's a lot of salt in there. It doesn't need any more salt.
The thing and it's funny, because soup is one of those things where it truly boggles my mind, because I know that they use, not everybody can taste potassium chloride, which is fake salt. For those of you that don't know, if you have something that says that it is low salt or no salt, it's usually got potassium chloride in it, which, and if you're on any heart medications or any kind of medications whatsoever, chances are they interact with potassium chloride. So be careful. Make sure you consult with your doctor.
Mm-hmm.
But most soups have this weird taste to me because of that, because they have potassium chloride in them to reduce the amount of sodium. Because things in soup like potatoes absorb salt, which is why they have to add so much salt, because they're in those vegetables and you can't taste it. So she found us.
Yeah, there you go.
I forget who referred her over. You, I just remember
Lisa.
You couldn't pronounce her name.
Yeah, Lisa. Lisa Eflin referred Julie Adrianson. I hope I'm saying
Adrianson.
That Adrianson.
So it was funny because Kent was telling me that I should sell my soups, and I've always said that my food is good. I just never really see it as being restaurant good or sellable good, because people don't like low sodium. They want salt, and that's just a fact. But how is it that so many low sodium soups taste so awful and off-putting, and they have this weird aftertaste? And homemade soups that I make that are low sodium, even my husband, he's like, they taste salted, and they're not. It's just the flavor profile that I bring. But it's so weird.
Yeah. So, and Jim did say, by the way, here, you've done a lot for me, Mary. So there you go.
He's one of the first people that I met after my diagnosis, kind of sort of through one of my low sodium groups. And he's not necessarily low sodium himself. He eats healthier. He eats real food.
Yeah.
And he cooks almost exclusively in cast iron. He restores cast iron. He's got the Cast Iron Journey, which is his book on how to restore cast iron. It's probably floating around somewhere here in the studio on one of the bookshelves. I think it's over on the bookshelf behind your drums.
Yeah.
But when you add value to your health, it makes it easier to make time to cook, and easier to make time for yourself, because it doesn't necessarily have to be cooking. It has to be paying attention to what you're consuming. Doesn't mean you can't go out to a restaurant or you can't eat things that you want to eat. You just eat the better option. So like me with my Julienne's ice cream, that is scratch made locally. And every time they add an ingredient, it's locally sourced. Like they go to Tom's Farm for their strawberries and such and things like that. Mm-hmm. So the vast majority of it. So it's still a fattening egg-based, super rich ice cream loaded with sugar. But if you're going to have something, it's better to have something made with real foods than it is to have something with additives. And as somebody with liver disease has discovered, if I have something with a colored dye in it, like a Gatorade, it kills me for days and days and days, just purely from those dyes.
Wow.
Because your body has to filter through all of that. So when you add a little bit of value to yourself, you find yourself with a little bit more time for things to do for yourself. So I'm glad that over how many hundreds of episodes here that we've inspired people to pay attention to what they're consuming and what they're eating, and maybe make a couple healthier choices. Not necessarily cut salt out of their diet, but just make a couple healthier options. So it's one of the best things and the best compliments that I get is anytime someone tells me that.
And with 1 minute left, how about we tell everybody where they can find you?
They can find me on MyLoSoLifestyle.com, My LoSo Lifestyle Facebook page, and of course right here on 216 The Net on Thursday mornings, and 216thenet.com and 216 The Net YouTube page. Please subscribe to our YouTube pages. The more subscribers we have, the more things we get to do. And we will see you guys next week.
Awesome.
Sunshine.